ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Namaste. Today's satsang topic is Kathopanishad. Atma Bodha from Kathopanishad. Before we go into the topic, we will just talk in general about prerequisite. Like we have been listening this satsang for about a month now. Very beautiful topics. Sadhan Chatushtaya Sampada and other topics by Shankaracharya ji. We know that there are prerequisites to come into this Vedic knowledge and Atma Vidya. So, every human being or any human being is looking for three things: security, peace, and happiness. So they physical security in terms of house and insurance wise and financial security and those kind of security. They all look for security, and every individual being, whatever they do, looking for some kind of happiness and peace within. And we all know that majority of human beings, including ourselves, myself, try to look at this happiness, security and peace outside. And our scripture is contradictory, says that the security, peace and happiness is within you, within us. And like Vivekananda ji or other saints said that every individual is potentially divine, and the goal is to manifest that divinity within. So they all talk about within and inside. पूरी भीतर की यात्रा है, अंदर की यात्रा है, and we all look things outside. So about the scriptures, I think our scripture yesterday in Hindu University class, they were talking about the text and traditions. So our original scriptures are, of course, Vedas, 4 Vedas, and Vedanta and Upanishads. Each Veda has got Purva Bhag and Anta Bhag. Purva Bhag talks about Karmakand and rituals part of it. And Ant, which is known as Vedant, is a Gyan Bhag. So basically, the way, as I understood in my limited time in this Vedanta for last 4 or 5 years, Vimalji and Chandraji knows more about it. They have been exposed for so many years. But what I have understood is Ved or Vedanta, Upanishad, talks about Jeev, Jagat and Ishwar and the relationship between them. And we all, every day, we are ourselves, we know that ourselves. And then we encounter with the Jagat and we have some kind of understanding about Ishwar and the relationship between all these three. So a triangle approach, right? Also Ved and Vedanta, at least mostly Vedanta, talks about karma, upasana and gyan, 3 part of it. So Gyan Marg is important, but prior to Gyan Marg, Karma and Upasana are prerequisite. Like Vimalji yesterday said about Vivek, Vairagya, prerequisite about it. So Vedanta is also prescribed that Gyan is the only mark to know about yourself. The goal for Vedanta and Upanishad is self-knowledge, Atma Vidya, also known as Brahma Vidya, self-inquiry. Who am I? Right? So the whole Vedanta and different kind of literature tells in different way. They give different examples, but that's about the Brahma Vidya or self-knowledge kind of thing. Now, if the Vedanta says that you are Brahman, they call it, or you are Purna, or you are everything, but majority of human being, we don't feel that way, that we are Purna, we are complete. We always lack something because we look at different way. We interact with people, we go every day to day work, and we don't feel that we are Purna. We are peaceful, we are secure, happy, right? There's something lacking. So what is that? Why, if the scripture says that you are Purna, you are complete, and we don't feel that we are Purna. Something is, so the Shastra says that this is only because of ignorance, agyan. And the only way to remove agyan is through gyan. And that's what the self-inquiry is given by this Vedanta. So, there are 3 problems, 3 solutions, and 3 methods. So now we know that self-inquiry, self-knowledge is the most important part of it. We have knowledge about materials and objective knowledge of everything outside, but we lack our own self-knowledge, who we are in fact. If somebody asks us, then we can give a whole list of who we are. I'm such and such, and I'm PhD, and I'm manager here, and I'm doctor here, and I'm Hindu, and I'm male. And as soon as somebody asks who you are, we are ready to describe ourselves. I know this and I know that thing, right? Which is okay, but I think who really we are, and that's what the subject of this Vedanta are. So because of this ignorance, we lack this understanding. So the Shastra says that there are 3 problems why we don't feel that we are Brahman or Purnatva. Then there are 3 solutions and 3 methods. Number one problem is chitta mala, means impurity of mind, right? The solution is chitta shuddhi, purity of mind. And the method is karma yoga, selfless work. When we say karma yoga, then again people say, yeah, I'm doing all the karma yoga and everything. But the Shastra defines that if you have to just summarize what karma yoga is nothing but proper action plus proper attitude is karma yoga. People say that I'm karma yogi, I do 8 hours of work or 10 hours of work or yard work and this. That's not a karma yoga. Karma yoga is anything that you do, proper action plus proper attitude is karma yoga. And whatever you do, according to Gita also, any karma that you do, you devote that to Lord. So, Ishwararpanam should be the attitude. And whatever experience we get, because anytime we do any karma, we get results. The results that we get, we should take it as a prasad, right? So that's the, in short, the summary of karma yoga. So the first problem is chitta mal, which is impurity of mind. You can remove by chitta shuddhi, which is purity of mind, through selfless action. The second problem is chitta vikshep, scatteredness of mind. We all know that our mind, how mind functions, and it goes from here and there and it scatters. According to Brahma Kumari, 50 thoughts per minute, 30 to 50,000 thoughts per day. You can imagine, if you have an owner of factory or any kind of material, don't you want to see that the quality of that product is good? Same thing is with our thoughts. If 50,000 thoughts per day coming, we need to see what are the kind of thoughts that we have. Negative thought, positive thought, and it's a function of mind, we all know that. But scatteredness of mind is kind of an issue or problem. The solution is chitta ekagrata, concentration. And the method is meditation, upasana. And it's a big, meditation is also kind of a big subject, but that's the method. But I like few of the definition of meditation. Meditation is not agitation. Meditation is the highest prayer. Meditation is a appointment with yourself. So I think I am at this stage now that I have to concentrate on the meditation part of it. It's our spiritual journey, right? So meditation is very important. Vedanta says that bhakti yoga is also part of that upasana and meditation. And the third problem that we have is agya, ignorance. And the solution is gyan, knowledge. And the method is, according to Vedanta, everyone knows, Shravan Mananan Nididhyasana. Listening, contemplations, and Nididhyasanam is assimilation of knowledge. Somehow, Vimal Bhai, this is my favorite one, the Shravana and Manana and Nididhyasana. Chandraji, this is so beautiful because Gyan Marg, if you have to pursue Vedanta and any kind of Vedanta inquiry, this is the way. So our Upanishad not only tells about the problem and the solution, how to resolve that. And Shravanan, Manan, Nididhyasana is so important. So 4 or 5 years ago, I was listening and reading here and there and attending all the lectures. So last 25 years I was doing that. So I took a pause and said, I want to learn the basic of our scriptures. So somebody gave me a Upanishad or Vedanta book. And when I started reading, it was all going above my head. Then I came to know that the method is Shravanan, Mananan, Nididhyasanam. And then when I started listening to competent guru, then it makes sense about it. So listening is, I personally find that listening is better than reading, because reading I am interpreting something by myself also. Somebody's author I am reading, but I am putting my input into it. Listening is I am directly listening to a guru. So there's a less distraction in listening. Mananan, the second part, Mananan. Mananan is because when you listen, you have doubts also. It's not that 100, whoever, in spite of the highest kind of guru or well-learned guru or somebody talks about it, I will not agree on 100% of it. And I, because of my ignorance also, and because of not having knowledge also. So I have doubts. So some of the doubts will clear during Mananan part of it, when you listen to that. And the last one, it took me a while to understand what is Nididhyasana. They say assimilation of knowledge. Assimilation of knowledge. You have listened it, then the doubts are removed, and you assimilate that knowledge. And it has to come into day-to-day activity and day-to-day kind of your vyavara. So other thing about Nididhyasana is converting this intellectual knowledge into emotional strength. The Nididhyasana is converting intellectual, because we all listen and understand and everything, but that's intellectual knowledge. But day in and out, we work with our emotions. So if you convert that intellectual knowledge into emotional strength, that is also called a Nididhyasana. With that little background, so we have four Vedas and I don't know, number of Upanishads, right? And Vedanta. So 108 Upanishads, some say 1,000 Upanishads, but Shankaracharya has given the commentary of 10 Upanishads. So by and large, people who are in the Vedantic, they kind of listen, they study, and they contemplate on this basically 10 Upanishads, right, Chandra?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So before Upanishad, I think if you want to pursue, if you want to know the knowledge of Upanishad, you have to, like Chandramouli has also said, and you had also many times said that some of the Prakran Grantha and Prasthantraya Grantha are very important. Prasthantraya is Brahma Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, and Upanishad. But and Gita is considered as all the essence of Upanishads. And Prakran Granthas are like, if you want to know the vocabulary of whole Vedanta, because there are some of the terms we may, if we jump into it, we may not understand that properly. So those are Atma Bodha, Tattva Bodha, Vivek Chudamani, Bhaj Govindam. So I'm at that stage right now, and I have gone through a little bit about Upanishad and all that. So the Kathopanishad. So what we are going to talk today is about Kathopanishad Darshan. So it's not that we are going to go to each and every shloka and the translation and meaning behind it, but a little bit about what the Kathopanishad is all about. Any Vedanta, any Upanishad is a dialogue between a guru and Shishya. So there are many Upanishads and it's between the guru and Shishya, and that's how some are big, some are small. But Kathopanishad is part of Yajurveda. All the Upanishads are part of some of the Vedas, right? So Kathopanishad is part of Yajurveda and part of Krishna Yajurveda. And that falls into this Kathopanishad. And every Upanishad has got Shanti mantra. So that comes associated with this. So the Shanti mantra for the Kathopanishad is Om Sahana Bhavatu. So I think we recite every time, every functions. So let's recite Om Sahana Bhavatu together and then we'll begin. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This mantra we recite every time during Bhagavakulam also, because this is like teacher and student. So we pray to Bhagavan that both the teachers and the student should be strong. We need blessings. Ma vidvishavahai. There should not be any misunderstanding or dvesha between teacher and student. So very important mantra. So one slogan that we take from Kathopanishad, and that's what we will kind of discuss about it, and that is Uttist Jagrat Prapya Varan Nibodhita. This is a one shloka or one sentence or a motto logo in one of the 120 shlokas of Kathopanishad. Uttist Jagrat Prapya Varan Nibodhita. We'll talk about that later on. But you will know that Vivekananda has taken this one and he has modified a little bit. That arise, awake, and stop till not the goal is reached. So that slogan that Vivekananda has given to all around the world was from Kathopanishad. But original was Uttist Jagrat Prapya Varan Nibodhita. So this Kathopanishad has 120 shlokas, and it has 2 chapters, and each chapter has got 3 sections, and the sections are known as vallis. So two chapters and so total 6 vallis and 120 shlokas. The meaning of Upanishad is the knowledge of self-inquiry. Up means najik, pasana. Ni means nishchit gyan. So the whole meaning of Upanishad is the self-inquiry or the Brahma Vidya or knowledge. And knowledge receiving from a guru, right, from a teacher. So the goal of Upanishad is Atma Gnan or Brahma Gyan. And it is all, if you know a little bit history about it, there was a Rishi called Katha, and he gave some kind of commentary. So the Kathopanishad also was connected to Rishi Katha also, Kathopanishad. So as I said, that there is a teacher and a student in each Upanishad. Here the teacher is Yam Raja and the student is Nachiketa. And it starts with a story. So I like this because if you have a story, then it makes sense and you can connect that too. Otherwise, the abstract of Upanishad and Gyan is kind of little abstract and it's very difficult to digest it. But once we have a story, we can always connect. That's why we like Ramayana and Mahabharata and Gita, because you're going with Ramji and Krishnaji and the whole story, and you learn a lot. So, our Guru is Yamaraja. They call it God of Death. And people sometimes are afraid of Yamaraja. But here, he's an Acharya. So, he gives the knowledge. And the student is Nachiketa. And Nachiketa is a Kumar. 10 years, 12 years, 8, that's a small boy. And there's a dialogue between that. The whole Upanishad is based on this Guru Shishya. So, the story goes like this. Let's go back to the Vedic period, Vedic time, right? There was a Brahmin called Vajashra. And at that time, they were all the rituals and yagas and yagnas, and those are the ways of worship. So Rajashrava was doing a yaga or yagna at that time. And he was doing yagna to get the Swargalok. So all the like 2/3 part of Vedas are rituals, and our rishis has prescribed so many rituals to get so many materials wealth also. So they have recognized that only jnana is not sufficient. You have to have the social life and the materials and enjoyment and everything. So there are a lot of rituals and yagnas and havan to get Lakshmi, to get home, to get varieties of things. But this Vajashrava was doing a yaga. It was a big yaga to get a Swargalok. It lasts for so many days. So many Brahmins are coming and chanting that Homa and Yagnas, and so it was nicely done, authentically, and the way it has to be. It's always my kind of intention that what are we learning from all this thing? So so these are the things that rituals, even you are a Vedantic student or going through Gyan Marg, do not ignore rituals. Rituals are equally important. Vimal bhai, I came to know after a long time this part of it. I'm a Brahmin and rituals are going on in my home for a long time, but I always go towards the satsang part more than the rituals part of it. But you do not ignore ritual. Rituals are very important. Only thing is about ritual is Hindus or even non-Hindus, they criticize ritual. And the reason is either they don't know the meaning of it or the purpose behind it. If we know the meaning and purpose, then it makes sense. So this yaga or yagna that Vajrashrava was doing to get a Swargalok. Nachiketa, 10 years old boy, he was very smart, and he grew up in this family of rituals and Vedic time. So he knew about it, exactly, even 8, 9, 10 years old. So he was attending this ritual. His father has done fantastically, very nicely. Hundreds of priests are coming and uh, the mantra chanting and all that. Nice atmosphere, everything. So at the end of the ritual, even our rituals also, we give dakshina to the Brahman or the priest. It's part of any ritual. So Vajrashrava at that time, Vedic time, there were no coins or money or big notes or anything. The richness, I think you can say that people has got cattle and cows and those kind of things. That person is known as the rich person. If you have 100 or 1,000 cows, you are a rich person. Right now it's different. So he, at the end of ritual, he was giving these cows to all the priests. Little boy, 10 years boy, was watching his father giving dakshina. What he was doing, so far he has done right thing, all the rituals and authentic and everything. At the end of it, he had some old cows or undernourished cows or cows which are useless cows. He was giving that to that brahmanas and priest. I think we also know that whenever we give dakshina, you have to give with good faith and so not the things which we don't need it. Here in the temple, many people donate which they don't need at all. So he was giving all these cows which are useless. I mean, they are ready to die. They were not giving milk, and they were weak and sick and old. As soon as you give it to someone, there's no use. It's a burden to them. And Nachiketa was observing this thing. And after he gave all these dakshinas and everything, Nachiketa came to his father and started asking some questions. Now you have to understand this personality of Nachiketa. He is smart, intelligent, he knows what his father was doing. He knew that my father will not get the full benefit or the highest benefit if he doesn't give a proper dakshina. Right? Because he was doing this whole yaga for Swargaloka and all that, and at 99% he has done well, but 1% due to that he may not get that benefit. So he thinks that you have to give dakshina which is very near and dear and valuable to you. So he said that to his father, that I am your son and I am precious and valuable to you. Whom are you going to give me? 8 years, 10 years boy asking his father, whom are you going to give me for dakshina? His father got shocked, and you know how people are busy during rituals and they said, go away. Boy came again and asked the same question. Father, whom are you going to give? This time his father got little serious. But like any other parents, when the child are kind of annoying or doing masti, mischief and all that, they try to scold them or give something, some kind of argument and get rid of them. So in that kind of mood, his father said, I'll give it to Yamraja, God of death. In simple word, get lost. or go to hell. That's how kind of attitude. I'll give it to Yamraj. So that's, and he kept quiet after that. So this guy got ready and said, okay, I'm ready to go. His father said, no, no, where are you going? He said, I'm going to Yamraja. You told me, right? Then he started changing his attitude. No, 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 I was just kidding. Just don't go. I was kind of angry and I didn't really mean about it. Lesson learned again. The first lesson was you do rituals with the meaningful and give good dakshina and all that. Second thing is about parenting is talk to your children and say what you mean, right? So many times I think parents say something and do something. So the lesson learned from this is whatever you say, you mean it and you say the same thing. So his father tried to stop him for and gave so much kind of argument, but he was not agreeing on it. So he said, I'm going to go to Yamaraja. So this is a story, right? Now, we'll not go too much into the story, how he went to Yamraj and all that. These are, but the important thing is about that he went to Yamraja and in Mrityulok. And as you know, Yamraja was very busy. So he works 3 shifts in a day. So he was not there. Yamraja was not there. So all the people around them, they said that he is not here. He said, I will wait. So as a guest, I think they were trying to give him food and water and all these things. He was not eating anything, he was not drinking anything, and he was just waiting. And now I have to meet Yamaraja. He waited for 3 days, 3 nights, without eating, without sleeping. See the dedication of a small boy, So Yamaraja, after his all work is done, he came to Mrityuloka and all his staffs were saying that there's a boy who came from this Prithvilok and he has waited for 3 days. And he wants to see you. We offered him food and he doesn't eat, he doesn't drink anything. So Yamaraja was very happy that seems to be a dedicated person. So Yamaraja welcomed him and gave him respect and all that. The lesson learned is Atithi Devo Bhava. Even Yamaraja was praising a small 8 or 10 years boy because he was a guest to him, right? So he asked little boy, so why are you here? What do you want? At that time, he said that I am here for some purpose. But Yamaraja was so happy with this boy, only 8 or 9, 10 years boy, that he came all the way. He said, I am so pleased and happy with you that I am going to give you 3 boons. Now this is Yamaraj. And when he gives boon, it's a big kind of deal, right? So ask any boon and I will give you 3 boons. Now it's a time of Nachiketa to ask 3 boons. So I think today we'll talk about first and second boon and we'll stop. And tomorrow we'll talk about the 3rd boon. So the first boon he asked, said, my father downstairs is very upset. I know that he is missing me and he just told me to come here, but he's repenting, he's upset, he's stressed, and he's not in good shape. So when I return back, Nachiketa is very smart. When I return back, this is in first boon. That means he is not there for permanently. Right. He is coming back. When I go back, my father should be, calm and peaceful and, he should not feel stressed and everything. I want him to be happy, He said, okay. Tathastu. So the first boon he asked was for his family, a family affair, his father. So it was very easy for Yamraj to give. So the second boon, he said that in Prithvilok, many people do many rituals for many things, and some do with the devotion, some they don't know what kind of for Swargaloka and everything. So can you show me or can you teach me a ritual where to get a real ritual or proper way of doing yaga so that I can tell everyone that leads to the Swargaloka? He said, Tathastu, no problem. Not only that, but he said that this ritual from now onwards will be known as Nachiketa Yagna. So the name of Yagya after that was called Nachiketa Yagna. And he taught that rituals too. I think this is a good time to stop here and we can have some discussion. It's almost 7:50. So we will talk about the third Yagna tomorrow.
Yeah.
But these two rituals and this story will be part of today's.
Very good. Very nice.